or no hat, and I look like that. Mhm. She said, "Are you already live?" Mhm. And I am. Give folks a minute to get on the line with one. Are they at the bottom of your closet? Welcome to the morning message. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Seriously, though, I think I actually do need some earrings because I can't take it. I can't take it. I cannot take it. Okay. So, let me switch up on the situation. Y'all come on in, friends. Oh, shit. Those of you who know your human design, this is going to be an added joy for you. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. Oh, shit. These are my glasses. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I need deodorant. How about I just get dressed now? That didn't happen, clearly. It's a beautiful day outside. All right, y'all. Hold on. Say hello, if you will. Or maybe not, if you want. Boom. What up, good people? We about to get it started for real. All right, quit playing. Welcome to the morning message. All right, my lips are dry. My hair needs a cut. Who cares? What up? Y'all. Shit. Let's go, y'all. Oh, shit. About to choke? Maybe my lips do need something. Some lubrications. Yeah, let's get into it. Some of y'all might be mad at your mom and daddy by the time we get done with this. Thank you for my waist bead compliment. Some of y'all might be a little bit mad at your mom and daddy and your guardians and the folks that raised you by the time we're done. But I'm not going to leave you on a bad note. I promise you. It's going to be good. Okay? It's going to be good. Those of you who have pulled your human design chart before, it's going to be good. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit about that too. If you don't know what human design is, don't worry about it. We're still going to make it through. What's up, Erlin? What's up, woo woo? Woo woo. Woo woo. All right. My name is Allah-mi Basheer. I'm an intuitive life coach. Hi. Welcome to the morning message. I don't even feel like doing none of this introduction, but for those of you who want to know more about me, what I do, and how I'll be doing, please feel free to go to begreateveryday.com. Okay. Listen, we're going to get into it. I don't even want to delay too much. I'm an intuitive life coach, if you didn't hear that already. I specialize in self-mastery. I teach people how to reconnect with their inner truth so they can go and become the person that they are intended to be. as opposed to another version that's not aligned. Shit. Um, I'm a little bit hype and hyper about this conversation today, and there's kind of several reasons why, but I'll just cut to the chase right away. I'm most excited about this conversation today because I like having conversations with people about keeping it real with themselves. Like, I live for that kind of authenticity, that kind of genuine, honest self reflection, that kind of, unapologetic, this is who and how I am. Like, I live for those conversations. I live in that spirit. Okay. That's my ecosystem. Okay. It's giving like fuck what everybody else think, this is me and how I am. I live for those. Okay, so that's where we are today, and that's what I'm excited about. Is because some of y'all are gonna wake up for the first time today and recognize, damn, I really am not living my most authentic life. I really am going through the motions just to try to improve other people and try to, just make it in this world without problems. I really am not doing what I really want to do. I really do bite my tongue and don't tell my truth all the time. Like, some of y'all gonna really wake up to that for the first time. Good morning, Najee. Um, yeah, some of y'all gonna wake up to that today for the first time as you prepare to get to work, or maybe you getting off work. I don't know where you are on the planet. It don't really matter. I'm glad you're here. But I'm really feeling like a lot of people today are gonna hear this message and really have to keep it real with themselves. And then keep it real with yourself. You're gonna trace back how did I even get here? How did I even come to discover that this ain't really what I want? How did I even get on this trajectory, this timeline, this career path? How did I get in this relationship? How did I end up really moving to this place right here? Was it all because I wanted it? Or was it somebody else's suggestion or their encouragement or their expectations that brought me here? Okay. Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about today is who were you before you became who people told you you should be? Okay. That's our jump off question today. Feel free to answer it in the chat if it resonates. Who, who were you before people told you who and how you should be? How would you describe that version of yourself? Okay. And some of you may say, well, I'm just myself. I'm not this way because somebody else. Yeah, you are. Okay. And here's how I know. Okay. Because we all are to some degree, by the way. Okay. If you know anything about human design, by the way, human design is a self discovery tool that really helps you to unlock your patterns. It helps you to very clearly see why you do the things that you do, what are the motivating factors, where did those factors come from, and what is authentically you. Okay. And I want you to think about it this way, because actually, this is the truth of how human design works. It's like everybody's born one day, right? That's what we call our birthday. But in human design, 90 days before you are actually born, you get your design. And if you want to call that your soul, we can call it your soul. Remember, this is 90 days before you actually are born. This is like 3 months, right? Before you actually come into this ecosystem, you get your stamp, which is the imprint of who you are. Okay. And you're like, where does the stamp come from? I'll give you a little bit of human design insight that, the planets, we won't even get deep into astrology, but the planets are always emitting energy that influences our human behavior. Every single planet influences our human behavior one way or another. Okay. The sun sign is like 70% of who we are. The earth is the energy that helps us ground ourselves in this hemisphere. The moon energy is what activates our internal drives to do a thing. Our Mercury influences how we communicate in this world. Our Venus influences our relationships and our values and things like that. Our Jupiter influences how blessings and abundance comes to us. Like, every planet is giving you juice, okay? And 90 days before you were even born, you receive what we call in human design, you receive your design. your blueprint, the authentic part of who you are before you're born. Because guess what happens after you're born? You got your blueprint of who you are, but the moment you come into this planet, now you are being conditioned. You are being influenced by everything and everybody around you. Everything and everybody. So there's who you authentically are, which is what we call your design. And then there's how you actually show up in the world, which is what you would call your personality. See the difference? So on the inside, it's who we authentically are, boom, boom, boom. But on the outside, it's actually how we show up. And that cognitive dissonance is what everybody on the planet is working through to try to find their best life and live their authentic self. Okay. We're all trying to return to our authentic self. Okay. Some of us are raised in homes that have a lot of conditioning, a lot of it. Soon as you're born, there's all these expectations. You're going to wear your hair like this. You're going to walk like this. You're going to dress like that. You're not going to say these things. You're going to do these things. When you get older, you're going to pursue this, that, and the other, but you're not going to do this, that, and the other. It's like all of this expectation that comes from the outside world kicks in the moment we're born. Okay. And it starts literally the moment we're born. You know, some of you were maybe crybabies. You cried a lot. Okay. And some of your parents jumped right to the rescue to come pick you up every time you cried, and some of your parents didn't. Immediately, you're being conditioned. You're being taught to know whether or not or how your needs are going to get met. Some of you learned, well, if I cry, they're going to come tend to my needs. And others learned that if I cry, people won't show up for me. Immediately, you're starting to get conditioned. And then you start getting that message, well, people won't show up for me when I express my emotions. And then, you know, life keeps going and you keep growing and you're getting more conditioning and more messaging and more expectations and all the things that come with just living this life. All of that starts to shape who and how we are. But then at the core of us is still how we are authentically made. So what I'm talking about today, as I'm talking about who you are or who you were before people told you who and how you should be, okay? I told you some of y'all gonna be mad at your mom and daddy, okay? Because even if they loved you a whole lot and they really meant well, some of you got some really toxic conditioning. Emphasis on the word toxic, okay? Doesn't make them bad people. It just means that who they told you you needed to be took you way away from your center. Woo! Okay? Y'all still with me? Took you way away. But who were you before all of that? Many of you can maybe earmark some certain pivotal moments in your life where you know things changed and it changed the trajectory of your life because of the influences that were in it. Some of you pursued careers at the suggestion of other people, right? Some of you chose to get married to certain partners because of the perception that other people had of the relationship. You know, some of you dress a certain way because you think it's going to attract, or you believe it attracts a certain kind of person that you want to be in company and community with. Okay. You're not doing it because you genuinely love it. You're doing it because it aligns with the social image that you want to have at this stage in your life. And we do this over and over and over and over again. This is a part of the human condition. We show up in life and meet the expectations of people, even if you're not a self-proclaimed people pleaser. Okay. There's just so much conditioning in the world. You know, for instance, you better grow up and get a job. If you don't have a job, you're a loser. That's conditioning. Okay. And I'm not saying that nobody should be operating without an income, but sometimes that income comes in a different kind of way. Okay. Woo. So that's what we're diving deeper into. Okay. Do you even remember some of these crossroad moments where you chose to start succumbing to the expectations of people around you versus following your inner gut? Some of you had a gut nudge to do something in life that you completely avoided and ignored because other people told you that it wasn't valuable, that it wasn't important, that it's not going to be sustainable, that it's not for you, that you're not for it. Like, this is very relatable. Okay. Whew. So it's important that we all take the time to do a little bit of soul searching, no matter what age you are. Okay. And question, am I truly showing up as my most authentic self? Or am I operating as a version, as a caricature? Okay. I keep hearing this word cosplay, and I love it so much. Am I cosplaying as a version of myself that is more acceptable to other people? Or am I truly living my best life? That's the question. That's the question. Who were you before people told you who you should be? What up, Jade? Crystal, thank you for coming in Wreck and Shop. Phil, what up, girl? Oh, thank you. You think I look pretty? I feel like I have dark spots, but or maybe it's the light. I don't know. Let's see if I change the light. Yeah, they're still dark. Okay, so that's what it is. Oh, well, I love your vibe so much. You're definitely the mother of a friend group of your friend. You know what? It's true. It is true. Okay, so literally had this realization the exact moment when the veil broke and I realized the expectation, conditioning, trajectory, and it started to shift. Yes, build a life that was definitely not the plan that they had in mind. Yeah, and there's so many people that can relate to that. Okay, she said I was not feeling negative. Okay, girl, we don't have time for it. I'm just gonna let them make it. I don't give a fuck. I'm officially at a stage I don't give a fuck. Okay, I'm officially there. So, but thank you. I need that. So yeah, okay. So a lot of questions I want to pose. Okay, what were some of those pivotal moments where you know you betrayed yourself? Okay, let's just get into. I'm channeling. That's the language that's coming through. Okay, maybe you want to write that down. Name the pivotal moments when you recognize you betrayed yourself, meaning you went against your natural nature, your natural instinct, your natural inner knowing of what is right and best for you. You went against that and chose another route. Can you name those moments? Okay. And if you want to put it in the chat, feel free, but it really is about self discovery. Okay. Self assessment. Can you identify the memories? Can you put yourself back in the context of the people and the players that were saying, "Yeah, do this, don't do that, go here, don't go over there." You know, like, do you remember these scenarios? Okay. Some of the natural milestone moments where stuff like this happens is in education, right? We get a lot of conditioning around education as a kid. Some of us are really like it's hardwired into us like you will go to college, 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 and then by the time it's time to go to college you don't really want to go, but you're going to go anyway because that's what's expected of you. Okay, so that's an aspect of that. Okay, but think about some other moments and scenarios where this may have appeared. Who were you before people told you who you should be? This happens in relationships all the time, right? Especially depending on how, forgive me the word desperate, how desperate you are for a relationship. We be curbing all kind of expectations and standards. We be betraying ourselves in all kind of ways that make us shape shift to become the person that we think this other person wants us to be. But who were you before that? What did you actually want out of partnership or kinship or love or connection or sex or whatever the things are? What did you actually want before you started shape shifting to fit this narrative and fit this equation? Who were you before that? Ooh, I like your hair, Sissy. It's cute. That's my baby. Yeah, who were you? Um, so, I always have to infuse a personal story. I'll even go back to, a love relationship before I got married to this person's padre. Okay. I am a woman. Those of you who don't know and who've never met me in real life, I am 6'1". Okay. Yes, my baby says stallion. Period. I am. I'm 6'1" and tons of fun. Okay. And it is a lyric. Yeah, I'm a tall woman. I'm a tall statured woman. So naturally, particularly when I'm dating men, I would date men that were over 6 feet tall all the time. 6 feet was actually short. Okay, if you were, because I'm 6'1", so if you're 6 feet, you're shorter than me. So my preference, when I was dating men, is 6'4" and up. Okay, my love that passed away, he was 7 feet. Okay, and I've dated everything in between: 6'5", 6'9", 6'7", all the things. And then I meet this lovely gentleman who is all of 5'9", 5'9". And Mr. 5'9" came shooting his shot real hard. Okay. I wish I could see her. I'm not gonna put the camera on you, but I'll just let you make it. Mr. 5'9" comes up to me in the mall, starts talking to me and trying to get to know me and asking me about things I like and invite me to his church and just trying to swoon me. Okay. And he was funny and charismatic. And long story short, clearly I gave this fool my number. Okay. We got Mr. 5'9" and Miss 6'1" now getting to know each other. Now, I dated this man for a year and some change, year and a half before we actually got married or decided to get married. And in that year and a half, I broke up with him 3 times. She stopped. Stop right in her tracks. 3 times. Tres tiempos. No, 3 veces. Sí. 3 veces. 3 times. Why? I could not handle it. I could not handle it. The height was a thing. I wasn't used to it. It was a thing that I couldn't get used to. I tried to get used to it. I was talking myself into it. It's like, it's gonna be okay. And he spit a line to me one day that really just, like, I had no rebuttal to it. We were spending time, having a good time, everything's cool. And I was just like, "Ugh, I can't do it. I can't do it." And one day he said to me, he said, he has a thick Jamaican accent. He's basically saying, you prefer to date these type of men, but where are these men right now? Like, if these men are so great, why isn't one in your life right now? And I did not have a good answer. I had no answer, in fact, because I was single. And I wasn't mingling like that because I had not met anyone that was charismatic and that made me laugh and that we had common interests and all the things. So when he said that, I was like, oh, point taken. So maybe the height isn't that important. What really matters is what's on the inside. Okay. I've come to find out that that is true. And I still had a height preference with men, right? So fast forward, we did obviously get married and had a beautiful family. And then I decided, for various other reasons, in addition to, it was just not a fit for me. Okay. But who was I before? I was someone that preferred to hug my male partners up here, not down here. I was someone who really enjoyed being athletic with my partner. I was someone who, prioritized a bunch of other shit that I no longer prioritize when I got into this connection. Okay. This is the real life story. Okay. And how many of us do this where we have preferences that we start cutting off and ignoring and denying and convincing ourselves that we no longer really have those preferences, and what I'm willing to settle for is this version over here, even though it's not really what I want. And when I settle for this version, what does that require of me? It requires me to have to show up in a way that is not authentic. I have to show up as if this is what I prefer because I've made a commitment and because I've decided that this is what I'm going to do. Like we do this all the time. Okay. And it's no disrespect to this brother because, again, we had our time did its thing, and we have the most incredible kids to show for it. I have 0.0 regrets in that exchange. I'm just being honest. Okay. And if I were to be honest about some other experiences that I've had in my life and how I curbed my actual inner desire and my inner knowing of what I thought was right and next and best for me, if I were being honest about so many other experiences, particularly jobs that I've taken, okay, projects that I worked on, anything that doesn't feel fully aligned requires you to show up fake. That's just the bottom line. It requires it. That's just how it goes. If we're not keeping it real, that means we're acting fake. We're pretending. And we call it things like settling. Okay. And if I were to give you some more language for the word settling, it's betraying. You are betraying yourself and the truth of what you know in your inner knowing. You're betraying yourself to now show up as a different version, a modified version that is not authentically you. Okay. And that might be of your own doing. It might be because you want to play into the expectations and projections of others, which is very commonly really at the heart of why we do the things we do that are not in alignment. We're not just betraying ourselves for the sake of betraying ourselves, although that's a thing. Self sabotage is a thing. Generally, we choose to opt out of who and how we really are because we're trying to win over the validation, the acceptance, the reverence of other people, the respect of other people. That's what it is at the end of the day. Okay. So it's a lot of energy around doing this kind of level soul searching. Okay. This kind of level self-reflection. Okay. Who were you before you started showing up as this fictitious version of yourself? Before you start, and that doesn't mean that you hate your life completely. There might be some benefit to going along, to get along, to embodying, principles, practices, and things that are more about other people's acceptance than it is about your fulfillment. Okay, it doesn't mean it's all shot, right? But at the end of the day, it's not sustainable. It's just not. It's not sustainable to show up as an alternative version of who you authentically are. And for those who are able to do it for extended amounts of time, it comes at a cost. It does. It comes at a cost. At some point, we become disgruntled or disenfranchised. At some point, we get tired of tap dancing and performing. We get tired of going through the motions, pretending like we're satisfied with something that truly doesn't suit our soul. It just, at some point, the levee has to break. But today, I want you to not focus on that part. Even if you are living a life right now that you know is not authentically yours because you're not doing it for reasons that truly fulfills your soul, even if that's your reality, I don't want you to beat yourself up about that. I don't want you to hold your parents accountable like, I'm doing this because I know this is what they taught me and I just can't stop doing this like this. And, you know, at some point we got to take our own self accountability, even if it starts out that way. Our early life conditioning puts us on a certain track and trajectory. At some point, it's our job to return to self. At some point. And that point doesn't have to be once you get burnt out. You don't have to pivot just because now you're exhausted. You can pivot when you just wake up to notice. Soon as we have awareness, we now have free will to choose differently. Whew, it's a lot of energy around that, okay? They're showing me things like some of you won't buy certain shoes because you were taught that those shoes represent a certain type of person. Whether it's stilettos or sneakers, some of you refuse to wear sneakers to work because you were taught that that is unprofessional. But who were you before that? You were probably someone who really loved sneakers, who really had an appreciation for fashion. Before you got those corporate jobs and they completely rewired your brain to tell you that you have to show up like this in order to be acceptable, you wore bright colors. You dyed your hair every which color and wore it every which way. Some of my sisters still won't wear braids to work because you are so hardwired conditioned that that is not professionally acceptable, that you deny that part of you that likes the style and appreciates the convenience of it and loves that cultural nod. So this energy shows up in all kinds of ways, you guys. All kinds of ways we betray ourselves voluntarily. No one's holding any weaponry to your head, telling you you got to do this or got to do that. Even in a corporate setting, there's so many fine lines to walk that if you wanted to, you could still show up more authentic to yourself than you do. But because you're completely disconnected from who and how you really, really, really are, that to pretend is just second nature. To cosplay is second nature. Okay. She says, I have a quote on my task board. The extraordinary in the ordinary environment does not shine. Okay, come on. The extraordinary in an ordinary environment does not shine. It is not recognized. Is that not the truth? And thank you for that segue because that's the next place of where they're going with this messaging. Like this conversation is not just about betraying yourself and not keeping it real. It really is about diminishing what is most valuable about you. Our authentic self, and I'll call it our vibe. Your your authentic and most genuine aspects of yourself is just your vibe, your essence. Don't y'all know that that's your moneymaker? Who and how you really, 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 really are? That's your moneymaker. Some of you think, no, I gotta conform, no, I gotta show up, I gotta do this, or I gotta do that. You think you gotta do all these things in order to get accepted, in order to be successful, in order to attract partnership and community and prosperity and to feel peace of mind. You think you gotta do all these extra things and jump through these extra hoops and be this alternative version of yourself, but really your bag is attached to who you actually are. Some of y'all don't want to sit with that. Whew, we don't let that breathe for a second. Your bag, okay? Those of you out here trying to make your money and make a life for yourself and create stability. We love that word, stability. You know, those of you who are really truly trying to do that work, you got to keep it real and be yourself. People will like you for you. People will accept you for you. I know you may think it, you may be seeing other people that show up the way you want to show up and they're getting rejected. That's not you. That's not you. You might say, well, they're just being their authentic self. Well, listen, maybe they are. And maybe it's for them to experience the level of the level of challenge that it really requires, mm, the level of courage that it really requires for us to show up as our authentic self. Maybe that's the journey their soul is on right now. But that's not an excuse for you to go hide in the shadows of your life. It's not. It's not a good enough excuse. Mm. Who were you before people told you who you should be? Some of you are orators. You're talkers. You have wise ideas to share. But you grew up in households and environments where people didn't want to hear from you. Children were seen, not heard, right? Isn't that a cultural value from back in the day? And so where you maybe were shut down for being too intelligent in your family, and a lot of you were as children the smartest people in your family. I'm sorry to tell you that. And no parent likes to feel intimidated by their kids. So what's the first thing they're going to do is silence them. Say, don't talk back. Don't express your needs. Don't tell me your desires and opinions. Keep that to yourself. And then that's the conditioning you grow up with. Oh, I'll just keep it to myself because nobody wants to hear it. Meanwhile, you're supposed to be out here preaching the gospel, helping people, teaching people, showing people, and all the things that you naturally do well and that you love to do. You're not doing it because you were taught that you need to show up a certain way. Nice girls and nice guys don't cause trouble. Usually it's the girls that are taught that. The boys are taught to go and get in good trouble. So this is like some soul searching work that we got to do today. You don't have to answer the question here publicly, but you got to answer the question for yourself. And if you can't get to any language that really helps you to answer the question of who was I before I started showing up in this alternative version of myself, this is where learning your human design becomes so helpful. And for those of you who know a little bit about human design, maybe you've pulled your chart before, the column of numbers that's on the left-hand side that says design, those gates represent who you really are before you were conditioned. The column of numbers on the right represents the version of you that has been conditioned. The difference between the two is our soul journey of returning to self. Some of the conditioning as I think about who I was before people told me who I should be or told me who I am from their lens. My entire childhood, my siblings in particular, nobody else, not my parents, not even my friends, but my siblings constantly gave me this messaging that I was selfish. That I was selfish. Now you got to know there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of complex trauma in my family from a lot of infidelity, a lot of relational confusion. My father had a lot of wives and had a lot of children and did a lot of cheating to create all of these wives and children. And so that left a family of children trying to figure out their place and space in the world. And so when you come from a family that where you're not getting what you need, and then you see somebody in the equation that looks like they're getting a little bit more than you, the lens of selfishness immediately is an easy draw. Okay. I'm thinking I didn't get no better version of them than you got. It was just a different version. But I digress. So the messaging that I got anytime I took initiative to take care of things my way or for myself, or, there's a lot of layers to this. I was labeled selfish. Now, to know me is to know that, yeah, I can be self centered, meaning I will prioritize what I think needs to get done, blah, 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 blah. But selfish in and of itself means there's no regard for anybody else's feeling. And that now, as an adult, I understand that's just not true. And in fact, according to my human design, I move exactly how I'm supposed to move. I'm not supposed to let other people tell me what to do. I'm supposed to be choosing my own course. That is how I'm made to be successful. Other people, depending on your design type and what am I drawing for them to know that about my chart, about myself, I have a defined identity center. That little diamond in the middle of the chart, mine is defined, which means that I naturally, normally, and am supposed to chart my own course. I'm not supposed to follow behind anybody's anything because I am made to be a leader. But that leadership quality as a child, when you're just going off to do your own thing, that is perceived as being self-centered and selfish. Because it's like, I'm supposed to be able to tell you what to do. You're not listening. And I'm like, no, I'm going to go do this. So it's those kind of layers of conditioning, as an example, that I've even had to unpack. And as I've been unpacking it and I've been sitting with it, and even Vic has been helping me with this because it's like there's nobody closer to me than Vic. She sees me every day. She sees how I show up, and she's very objective to tell me when my shit stinking. Okay. And what I had embodied through conditioning as selfishness is just self-direction. And I'm very unapologetic for it. I do what I want to do. I am not a people pleaser. And that can be easily misconstrued when you're in a community of people who felt like they had to people please to get their needs met. And then here I come along and I'm not doing that shit. So some of the revelation for myself that I've come to discover and really own is that I always say I can't stand people, like people get on my nerves, and that's true too. But I really am a lover of people. And it almost makes me cry because it's to a fault. I really, really, really want the best for everybody. Anybody that's come across my path. And almost to a fault to where I'm pouring into people and used to be not so much anymore. But I used to pour into people that didn't ask me just because I just felt like they needed it, because I felt like it would help and I felt like it would improve their situation. Like it's all love embodied, right? But when you're giving information and giving support that nobody asked you for, which is completely out of alignment for me to be doing that, and I've learned that. I'm here to respond to life, not just be out here just giving it what I want to give it. That's per my human design. And again, those of you who don't know about human design, I welcome you to start your self-study process. I welcome you. I invite you to get a one-on-one reading with me or whoever resonates for you. But just find out the wisdom for yourself. Learn who you are. Okay? Know thyself, as they say. And then learning more about my chart was so interesting. And it shows up both on my design, it's like who I authentically am, and it shows up in my personality. Gate 50. And gate 50 is this energy of wanting to provide support to people that are around you. Like, that's my Uranus. That's what makes me unique, is that I have this unwavering need to provide support to people. That is actually who I am. It's also how I show up. But through conditioning, I was overriding what I know to be true about myself. Like, I really do care about people. I really do be looking out for people. I really do go out of my way for people. But the conditioning kept saying, no, you don't. That's not who you are. You're a selfish bitch. That's who you are. You don't think about nobody. That's who you are. And like that was on repeat in my head. And I've been unlearning that for the last 4 years. Just 4 short years. Is really starting to look at the level of conditioning I've received about myself and how that compromises my ability to move forward in the ways that I am literally designed to move forward. I literally pause on things because, and Vic will tell you, like I do this all the time with her. It's like I'm constantly, and plus I'm an empath, right? So I'm naturally attuned to other people's feelings and other people's thoughts and other people's needs. And that is my default, is to go to attend to other people's shit as opposed to really paying attention to how I feel and what I feel like I need in the moment, emotionally, particularly, right? I don't always do that. So I make decisions that is really rooted in making sure everybody else is good, forgetting what I need. I do that all the time. I'm still working to unlearn that because it's not how I'm meant to be successful. Doesn't mean I shouldn't be taking other people's stuff into account. Absolutely, yes, but I can't forget about myself. And I wonder how many of you have gotten so caught up in showing up for other people a certain way that you just completely disregarded what you want, what matters most to you, what you need, and what you love. Whew. Okay. Sips tea. So let me shut up for a moment. Lots of comments. Dandy, I'm glad you subscribed. Okay. And anybody else who didn't get a chance to subscribe to the channel, do that now. Like the video. I appreciate it. It helps to create more activity on the algorithm, of course. Woo! It's a good time for me to take a break. Approval shaped identity, usefulness replaced authenticity, safety became tied to pleasing, conditioning overrode instinct, and belonging required self editing. Oh, God, girl. You are telling the story of so many people. Okay. You are telling the story, and thank you for your comments, my love. You are telling the story of so many people, and I see it says before, so I'm going to keep reading because I know there's been a shift, but this is the story of so many people. And that's what we're talking about. Who were you before people told you who you should be? The extraordinary in an ordinary environment is not recognized because ordinary environments are built to reward adaptation, not authenticity. Correct. So people learn to cosplay survival until they forget who they were before the performance began. Ashe and amen. What's up, Carla? Ashe and amen. Ashe and amen. And I appreciate you bringing in the message of survival because it is. And it starts from early, you guys. We are conditioned from the moment we hit planet Earth. Before we can talk, before we can walk, before we even know anything about our environment or anything about relationships or anything about community or anything about anything, we are getting messaging every day, all day around what is appropriate for us. And it is a survival skill. We do learn to mute ourselves and to shapeshift to fit in environments because we realize that if I do this, it's more peaceful. If I just go along to get along, I don't have to hear the lecture, or I don't have to get the dirty look, or I don't have to get the negative feedback or comments. I don't have to feel the rejection. It's like we're not even thinking, we don't even have the emotional aptitude, intellectual aptitude as children to process it on the level that it really is. We just adapt as a means of survival. And it doesn't stop at childhood. Many of you are still doing it right now to this day. Right now to this day. Okay. Performing for the gram, performing for your parents, performing for your partner, performing for your job, performing for your kids. We don't even have to get into that real deep. Showing up as one version when really at the heart of it, that's not who you really are. You're just thinking that's how people expect you to be. That's what, quote, good parents do. But authentically, what you want to do is something else. Woo. You know, I have a friend who shall remain nameless who has school age kids and she doesn't have custody of her kids. And instead, she not only does she not have custody of her kids, she has chosen to live a life of independence and to be a world traveler. She's chosen this life for herself. Left her kids with their dad, and she's not married. Left her kids with their dad, and she is out traveling the world because that's what authentically she wants to do. And I'm going to tell you, as someone who's a lover of children, an advocate for children, for those of you who don't know, I used to be a social worker for a while, and just my heart for children. I believe all children deserve to have healthy parents who are present, who are active, who are engaged, who are nurturing, who provide protection and provision. I believe every child deserves that. And so when I watch this person live their life to the fullest on their terms, I'd be lying if I said I didn't internally judge. I do. Because for me, could never leave my kids. The fuck. No matter how much I want, whatever I want, how I want it. For me, my relationship to my parenting experience was I'm going to do whatever I got to do to provide for these people. They deserve the best of what I got. They didn't ask to be here. I brought them here. So it is my responsibility to make sure their journey is as complete and as whole as it can be, at least until they're of adult age to start making their own decisions and creating their own life. And that's what I did, literally. And as soon as they got through high school, went on to college, I was like, beep, deuces, I'm out of here. I'm leaving the country. But not a moment sooner. Not a moment sooner. And so on some level, even though I hard side eye and really judge this person because they didn't make the kind of level sacrifices that I feel parents should make for their children, and you all, some of you may agree with me. Like, yeah, you should never do that. You should never abandon your kids just to go live your life. What I will say is that she is being true to herself. She's being 1,000,000% authentic. And she does it in the face of people's judgment like me, in the judgment of her children's father. She does it in the face of the judgment of anybody that knows a story that doesn't approve. She still shows up as her authentic self because that is what she wants to do. That is her truth. Whether I like it, whether the kid likes it, whoever don't have to like it, that's the truth of the situation. She's not pretending. So good, bad, or ugly, she is living this life the way her soul came to live it. I don't agree, but guess what? Who gives a fuck if I agree? That ain't my life. It ain't my story. They say it ain't my circus. Okay? It's not. It's not. And I can have as many problems with it as I want to have, and I can harbor as many emotions around it as I want to harbor. And the reality is, she's still gonna do what she feel like she need to do for her. And quite honestly, that's what we're all supposed to be doing. Wild, right? Takes a lot of courage to be your authentic self. You might piss a lot of people off showing up how you really are. And some of us don't have the balls to do it. To really keep it real with ourselves and be like, I'm not doing this. This has happened with another friend, another family member. I know a few people who have opted out of parenting because they're like, I don't want to do this. So I don't know what's worse. Staying in community with a parent who don't want to fucking look at your face every day, or having some kind of health of a relationship with someone who is distant, but who can at least show up authentically. Chris says, woo. Yeah, yeah, we do. She says, we ask people to be authentic until they're authentic. That whole part. I'm telling you, I love these kind of conversations because I live in the spirit of keeping it real. And trust me, it has come with consequences. It has. When you walk this line, this life unapologetically, and you're not playing small to somebody else's expectation, you can best believe it will piss some people off. And here's the thing, for those of you, I keep saying this kind of content on social media. It's like if you're someone who's friends with everybody, that means you're not true to yourself. If everybody on the planet loves you, that means that you are in some way showing up inauthentically because it is natural, it is normal and healthy to have contrasting experiences with people, to have disagreements, to not feel like you're in alignment, to ruffle some feathers. If you're not ruffling feathers and everybody likes you, that means you are people pleasing somewhere or another. Somewhere you're not showing up as your authentic self. We call it being polarizing. I'm polarizing as fuck. Those of you who fuck with me, thank you. I fucks with you too. Those of you who don't, and you're still here watching, God bless you. I fucks with you still. Don't make me never mind. It's not my business how people feel about me. That don't have nothing to do with me. My most important relationship is with myself, which includes my higher power. As long as I'm good there, I'm solid. Woo! All right, take a breath, Allah-mi. Goddamn. A lot of energy. Shake it off. Shake, shake, shake it off. I don't know Taylor Swift, so I can't even sing the song right. Okay. Anyway. Woo! Yeah, Daddy says it's exhausting. I love the knowledge you're putting out. Thank you, Carla. Girl. Thank you for coming by. Yes. I try to have a good time out in these streets, y'all. I show up and do these live channel messages, just literally because it's part of the assignment. And obviously, y'all not investing in this. By the way, I do appreciate your tips and love donations. Please do see the details of my CashApp. That does actually get to me, and I do appreciate it. Okay. Sometimes it does feel like a grind to be up and out in these streets every day, 5 days a week, channeling a message for people I don't even know if they're listening. It'd be a handful of y'all live, and then I see a bunch of replays, and that's great. But I do like a two-way exchange. I do. I really do. So please consider buying me a cup of coffee. I appreciate that. But let's keep it going. Okay? Because whether you buy that cup of coffee or not, I got to do what I got to do. Okay, card. Card is this. Oh, look at this. Card says mask. Mask. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I just entertain myself. Okay. The card says mask. Okay. So what are the masks that you are wearing? Okay. And I'm hearing more specifically that mask is like, what are the boots that you are feeling that are not actually your boots? Okay. What are the shoes that you are stepping into that is actually not yours? Okay. Who are you pretending to be? Okay. Who are you pretending to be? Where you been? Where you go? You and these 5-minute workouts be killing me, bro. Oh my God. I guess I've been on here an hour and you left when I first got on here. Am I a Gemini? You better believe it. Okay. Shout out to my gems. Sailor be hating on me.
I don't hate y'all.
Meanwhile, everybody she loves is a Gemini.
It's not my fault.
It's not your fault we surround you. What you need?
Well, I just want to say I'm kind of. You said believe it too?
No. Okay. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up soon. What the hell? Such a weirdo.
Yeah, I get it from you. Sorry.
All right, let me get in these cards, bro. Yeah, when I rock, the messages come in easier. All right, stay focused. We have the card mask. I said all I need to say about that. It's a question. What are the masks you're wearing? In what circles are you pretending to be someone that you are actually not? Most of us can go right to work. Even if you're self-employed, people curb their behavior, curb their conversation, or curb their aesthetic, shape shift so that they can be more palatable. We see this all the time on social media. People faking the fun, acting like this is really how they are. That's why you get me with no fucking background, no makeup on. It just be what it is. I'm sitting here putting on deodorant while we starting the live. It's just, I don't give a fuck. I mean, at this point, I don't. You know, y'all people, y'all do the same shit. I'm not here to perform. I mean, this is not a performance. In fact, anytime I feel like it's a performance, I am backing away. I don't want to do it. Because I get too much joy out of just being myself. I really do. I really, really do. And that's not because I'm the greatest person on earth. It's just, it's easier than pretending. Sometimes I'm annoyed with myself because it would be way more beneficial for me to pretend to be something that I'm not than it would just be myself. Because that comes with a bunch of bullshit sometimes. And a lot of people who don't understand, who don't get it, who don't approve, who don't respect it, and all the things. And it's like, if I just shapeshift a little bit, then everybody would be playing nice with me. Fuck that. Because that I know is not sustainable for me. I can't do it. Love y'all though. I do. Life is a stage. Not over here. Mm-mm. And it might be part of my age. You know, I'm an old horse. I'm an old mare. So, you know, I've already done all of those things. You know, they say old people don't give a fuck at some point. It's true. We really don't. We really don't. You know, if you would have caught me for sure in my teens, I was real hyper focused on what people thought about me in my teens and in my 20s. And then I became a parent. And then somewhere in my 30s and definitely in my 40s, it's like the I don't give a fuckness part of me, it just grew. It grew like wildfire. And again, it's just easier. Because here's the reality. There's going to be people that don't like you either way. So you might as well be yourself. Because even when you are trying to be what you think people need you to be, it still is not enough. I don't know if you've noticed that. It's still not enough. They're still going to draw criticism. They're still not going to be pleased with some of your decisions. They're still not going to like some part of how you look. Oh, that's cute, but bitch, fuck you. This is what I'm doing. All right, sorry. If you're new here, I cuss. You probably figured that out. Chris says, I've been asked to do so many podcasts and keep saying no. First of all, it's enough opinions out there. Secondly, if I can't say what the fuck I want to say, I'm good. Period. Facts. And at some point, you're going to have to say what they want to get the money and stuff. At some point, maybe. But we get to choose if that actually becomes a reality. It doesn't mean people won't ask of us. People will always ask us to be something that we're not. because they're going to always ask for what makes life convenient, comfortable, aesthetically pleasing, what feels aligned for them. People are going to always ask for that from us. That doesn't mean we need to deliver on it. Ever. Ever, never, ever in your long-legged life. Okay? God, I love when I date myself. So good. Dandy says, I hate when I feel the slightest bit of inauthenticity out of others or myself. Oh my God. I cannot stand myself when I feel like I'm being fake and phony. And I swear to God, it's a whole visceral reaction of like, no, like, no. Like, I literally can't do it. My body flails. I can't do it. It is a convulsion. I cannot do it. My soul won't let me do it peacefully at all. Okay. So yeah, I get it. I've kind of become obsessed with about it and against it, actually, especially on here and on my channel. Oh, I get it. I get it. Daddy, let me know what your channel is. No, I get it. 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 Dandy, how did you find this channel? Were you just surfing on the internets on YouTube? Or did you follow a link from somewhere? I'm just curious. I love that we have new people tuning in. I love it. All right, let's keep going. I've got one or two more cards. Again, those of you who might be interested in a one-on-one reading, I welcome you to go to begreateveryday.com. You can book a one-on-one quick clarity call, or if you want to dive deep into your human design, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. If you don't know who you authentically are, okay, and I'm not just talking about what your hobbies are or what you like to do, I'm talking about your magic, as I use the language of your vibe. If you don't really know what inspires you, what drives you, how to cultivate healthy relationship, if you don't know how to be yourself, and that's a real thing, you guys. I know it sounds kind of like, who don't know how to be themselves? A lot of people. That's literally why I'm in business, is because a lot of people are disconnected from who they authentically are. The conditioning has been so loud, so pervasive, and come from so many places. It's easy to lose ourselves, literally. You don't know what is actually yours or what you're actually just doing for approval anymore, because it all just kind of blends together after a while. Oh, just turned it on and there we are. Okay, let me take a little screenshot and try to find your channel later. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. So yeah, this is actually what I help people do, is rediscover themselves and step more into that authenticity and really pull the veil down behind who and how they've been cosplaying their way through life. Okay. And yeah, it's quite a journey. I really love what I do. I really, really, really love my life. I really do. I love that I get to do this work with people. So y'all tap in if it resonates, okay? And not a moment sooner. Only if it resonates. Okay. Okay, boom. So the card I have says accept responsibility. Okay, and you see it looks like a mirror image, right? We could pull this card, not this card, but pull a similar card. The mirror effect card came up the other day. The same energy, okay? But this one says accept responsibility. Meaning, if you are disconnected from who you authentically are, who you think is supposed to change that shit? Whose job is it to switch it up? How do people, most people don't even know when we're being fake and phony, because some of us have mastered it so well that it just shows up as, quote, reality to the outside viewer. Okay. So if this is something that really matters to you and you want to get back in alignment with yourself, you got to accept the charge of doing this deep-seated shadow work of uncovering, well, how am I actually showing up? Let me keep it. Is this really who I am, or am I just doing this because, people laugh when I do it, or people smile when I do it, or people give me things when I do it, or people think I'm worthy of opportunity when I do it? It's like, am I doing this because I genuinely want to or not? And when you get to the null part, that means that you got to go back and rethink what you've been doing and uncover what's actually waiting to be birthed in you. The version of you that you really are is waiting to be birthed. Okay? But nobody can bring that part of you forward. They can encourage it. People can try to make you feel safe and say, hey, no, I accept you regardless of what you do and how you do it. It's all good. Just be yourself. And then you're like, okay, but and you still have these natural inclinations because you want people to see you in a certain way and you want them to love on you and to like you. Man, that's the biggest crock that has ever been sold, is that you want people to like you. And we all got it to a certain extent. Even I don't give a fuck, still wants people to like her. I do. I would prefer that. Okay. I'm not willing to sacrifice who and how I am for it anymore, but I would prefer it. Right? I would. So this accept responsibility card is personal. It's personal. Only you know the truth. Okay, you know if you feel resonance with how you're moving or not. You would know. So it's for you to accept responsibility of doing the soul searching work, uncovering who and how you really want to show up, and then giving yourself permission to be that. And even in giving ourselves permission, that's not enough. Sometimes we got to give ourselves permission to do something different, but we also have to unlearn that mechanism of suppression that we have mastered so well. That mechanism of self-denial and self-betrayal that we it's a knee-jerk reaction just to go do whatever people want, as opposed to stopping to ask ourselves, is this really what I want to do? Do I care about showing up like that? Does this actually feel good to me when I do things like that? Or does it feel better when I do it like this? Woo! Okay. So that's a personal conversation. Okay. It's a personal problem. I remember when I was in grade school, you say, it sounds like a PP to me, a personal problem. Sounds like a PP to me. All right. Danny says, I had a mini breakdown the last couple of weeks because I wasn't sure if I was heading down my path, but I figured out again. Come on. And thank you for saying that, because it's not a one and done. Okay. We're constantly having new experiences and new challenges and being asked to rise to new occasions where we always have to be faced again with that choice. Do I show up as my authentic self and say what I really think and be how I really feel is organic and natural for me, or do I play to the audience? That is a cycle in this lifetime that we're going to consistently and continually have to face that part of ourselves and challenge ourselves to step into our authenticity. Say that real fast. Okay. It is a continual journey, you guys. So just because you did it in one aspect of your life doesn't mean it's over forever and you never have to do it again. It is a choice, a continual choice. This is what mastery looks like. Mastery is not just getting good at something on the outside, it's getting good at the things on the inside too. It's getting good at catching your habits in real time, your patterns in real time, and redirecting that shit. Okay? That's what self mastery is. It's awareness and control of your behavior. Okay? Whew. Okay. So, Crystal's relating to Dandy. Yep, exactly. Just pretend everyone already likes you and they will. I love that. That's a great mindset to have. And even if they don't, be okay with the fact that they don't have to, because you don't like everybody either. I have to remind myself of this. I have to remind you all of this. You don't have to like everybody, and everybody does not need to like you. More importantly, it's not essential for you to be happy, for everybody to like you. And if it is essential, that means that your joy is very fragile. It's very fragile, meaning it's not even within your control. You're not even making it your job to be joyful. You're making it somebody else's job to make you happy through their validation. Okay. Whew. Oof, oof, oof. Let me slow down. I'm literally like winded. Okay. A lot of energy coming real fast. All right. Last card of the day If you didn't get a chance to yet, make sure you like this video, guys. Like and subscribe, guys. Yeah. So, okay. So clearly this is our card. Okay, boom. Freedom. Freedom is the card. Okay. When I talk about being unapologetically yourself, okay, and remembering who you were before people told you who you needed to be, is you were fucking free. Okay? You were. You weren't operating through the lens of somebody else's prescription or somebody else's design. You were just being yourself. Period. Full stop. You're just being yourself. And whoever told you that that's not sufficient enough, or good enough, or wise enough, or attractive enough, or funny enough, they fucking lied. They lied. Because and the reason why they lied to you is because they weren't evaluating you for you. They were evaluating you based on them. And that's not your grading scale. You're here to be the best you can be, not the best them. Oh, Lord. Somebody need to hear that. You're here to be the best you can be, not the best them. Okay. Whew, it's really important that we're able to embody that, folks. Some of you hate yourself so much in certain ways and aspects, maybe not your whole self. Okay, you may not give people permission to talk to you crazy and shit like that. Maybe some of you do. But there's a level of self-love that needs to be met in order to be able to do this work. You got to have an appreciation for who and how you are. You have to have the reverence and respect that you want others to glean from you. How can they see the light if you're not shining it? Mm, mm, mm. Hi, boo boo. I miss you so much. I said, hi, honey. Oh man, I am so ready to come back, and my work is not done here. God is telling me I got more work to do here, so I'm not coming back just yet. I'm hoping next week, but not just yet. But yeah, you guys, you got to put some respect on your own name. You have to appreciate all those little idiosyncratic parts of you. Idiosyncratic. What's that word? All the oddities, all of the unique and exceptional, and maybe even the unordinary, extraordinary characteristics of you that maybe most people may not be able to appreciate, but that is uniquely you. You're supposed to embody and embellish that shit. You're supposed to double down on that shit, not deny it, not hide it, not try to siphon it off and make it something, make yourself something and somebody you're not. You're supposed to embody all of who you are. And you may say, well, I got some bad habits too. You probably do. We all do. And for every bad habit is the potential to develop a better one, a new and improved version of yourself. Ain't nobody perfect. Ain't nobody asking you to be perfect. And anybody that is, they are full of lies themselves because they themselves are not perfect. The call to action is to be who and how you actually are authentically. There's value there. The call to action is to find and reconnect with the value there before you put all these chains on yourself and all these demands and all these rules and requirements. Before you subscribe to all of the measures of success that are not yours authentically. Okay. Who were you before people told you who you should be? You were free. Okay. You were free. So let's return to that sense of freedom. Give yourself permission to be yourself. That doesn't mean you don't stand to grow, to continue to evolve and become more new and improved. Okay. But it starts with really honoring who you are. You have to honor it first. Okay. All right. I feel complete. I hope your siblings watch your videos now. I think they do. I'm intuitive, so I know they do. I know some of them do. They don't talk about it, but that's also a part of the healing that people got to do. And that's okay. All right, y'all. I'm tapping out. This was fun. As per usual, I told you you might be mad at your mom and daddy, but you don't have to be because it's your responsibility. It's not about them needing to apologize to you for anything. It's great if they do. If they're alive to do it, great. And if they're not and they're gone, it's okay. You don't need it. You don't need that to do the healing work. Okay? You do need to take personal responsibility for yourself. You do need to do the self assessment and self exploration to really unpack what parts of you are not showing up as your most authentic self. And if you are having a hard time really integrating that new knowing and that new awareness to become and embody all of yourself, it becomes an opportunity to tap in with somebody like me. So go to begreateveryday.com, you all. Begreateveryday.com. Begreateveryday.com. Book a clarity call, human design reading. I'm happy to support you through all the things. And if you're looking to work with a coach, book a discovery call. I'm happy to share with you how I work. My partner and I, we're happy to serve you all and help you transform your life. I hate that language. It sounds so cheeky. It sounds like so coaching. Transform your life. But for real, I mean, deep change is transformation. That's what we do. So tap in, friends. Love y'all so much. Love you too, Chris. That'll be good. Have a great day. No matter what. Peace.